Okay, today we're going to focus on evaluating expressions. I see a lot of students make mistakes when they're evaluating expressions. The biggest step to remember, and even if we start it here, use parentheses when substituting. I say it all the time. It's a good habit to get into, especially when you move forward. So here, if we were to evaluate this following expression, we'll start out easy and go into a more difficult one. xy plus z when x equals 3, y equals negative 2, and z equals 7. I'm substituting these values, 3, negative 2, and 7, wherever I see those variables in that expression. So x, instead of putting x, I'm going to put parentheses, and I'm going to put 3. Y, remember when two variables are next to each other like that, that means multiplication. So I'm going to use another set of parentheses and put negative 2 here. The plus sign stays as a plus sign, and instead of z, I'm putting 7 in just like this. So there shouldn't be any variables. There should be parentheses in their place, and we should be substituting those values in. Now, a lot of kids, they don't even realize you guys could plug this just in your calculator just as you see it. You would turn on your calculator, parentheses, 3, parentheses, and so on. And if you press enter, you'll get your answer. If I were to plug this in and press enter, I would get positive 1. However, if I had to go and do this by hand, I would follow order of operations, or PEMDAS. P stands for parentheses. Is there anything inside the parentheses that can be done? No. E stands for exponents. I don't have any exponents here. Multiplication and division, first come, first served. So I have multiplication here. 3 times negative 2, positive times a negative is a negative, giving me negative 6. I rewrite everything else as is. There are no other forms of multiplication or division, and add or subtract negative 6 plus 7 is positive 1. So we do get the same answer, thankfully, in that situation. The next example we're going to do, slightly more difficult here, a squared b minus b squared when a is equal to 3, b is equal to negative 4. Again, the biggest mistake I see students make is that they do not use parentheses. If I were to replace a with 3, I'm going to put parentheses around it, the squared, the exponent's on the outside of that set of parentheses. B, again, I'm going to open up another set of parentheses. They're being multiplied together is negative 4. The minus sign stays the minus sign there, and then negative 4 squared. Here is the biggest mistake that I see. When you plug this into the calculator, I say get in the good habit of using parentheses. If you plugged in parentheses negative 4 squared and you hit enter, you would get positive 16. But the calculator works on order of operations just like we do. A lot of students will plug this in, negative 4 squared, without parentheses, and they'll get negative 16 because the calculator squared the 4 and then took the minus, or the negative of it. Be very careful how we plug this into the calculator. If I were to plug this whole thing in as is and press enter, I would get negative 52. But I'm going to show you guys how to do it using order of operations to simplify. Again, I could write PEMDAS over the side. Good form of reference here. Parentheses, are there anything inside the parentheses that I could simplify? No. Exponents, here I have exponents. My first set of exponents, 3 squared, which is 9. I rewrite everything else as is. And while I'm at it, I do have another set of exponents here. As we get more advanced, make sure we can do multiple steps on the same line. So I took care of all of my exponents. In this case, this would be minus 16. Then I'm going to go with multiplication and division. Again, first come, first served. 9 times negative 4 is negative 36. I rewrite everything else as is. No other multiplication or division. And then I add and subtract. Negative 36 and negative 16 is negative 52. Thankfully, I got the same answer. So the calculator is certainly a way that we can check our work. If I had to show work, I do need to have my expression, have the substitution, and then show my work for the solution there. If it's a multiple choice question here, I could plug everything into my calculator and get my answer. Thanks, guys.